Right, we are live. Hello, everyone. It's Jacob Jake's Metal Chat. Hope you're all well and whatever you're doing this evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I don't know. I'm a bit knackered, so brain's a bit frazzled. Um, anyway, everyone knows this man here. The man. He's probably a myth to a lot of other people. He is a legend. To me, he's the death metal guru because his knowledge of death metal is just absolutely ridiculous. And to a lot of us, he's our Uncle Ken. So, Ken of Ken's Death Metal Crypt, welcome back. How are you doing?
Thank you, Jake. I'm doing well. Thank you. And thanks for having me on your show again.
No, yeah,
I
again.
know it's been a few years since we've done this, and I do appreciate you always having me on. It's my absolute pleasure to be on your show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because I looked it up when I had you on. It was July of 2020.
Oh, has it been that? Has it been that?
Yeah, nearly 4 years.
It's been that long, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
nearly 4 years. It's ridiculous. Just
Okay.
how.
Wow.
Just,
Yeah, time flies.
We already got a message. Good evening, gentlemen. It's Mark G with a C.
Hey, Mark.
How you doing, Mark? Thank you for tuning in. He did say he was going to catch a bit of this, so that's good. So I mentioned you and death metal, so everyone loves death metal.
Lots of people like death metal, so here we go. We got a lot of death metal we could talk about. So that's
I got
you're looking for some death metal, you're at the right place.
Yeah, at the right place. I got my selection of records here, so we can talk our favorite records. But before we get to that, obviously I've already asked you this question on the last chat, but for anyone that hasn't watched that chat yet, I know it's in the description below because I put it there. And I know what the first record is you bought, but could you tell anyone else that hasn't heard it what was the first record you ever bought and how you got into metal from there?
Oh yeah. So the first record I ever bought, metal record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably the first record actually because I hadn't owned my own record, which is coming from a large family. My brothers and sisters all had records, but I didn't until I was the age of 12, when it was the summer of 1983. And to make a long story short, I went to it was a department store, but they had some music in the department store as well, a little music section. And I was with one of my older sisters, and before we walked out of the store, she wanted to look at the records, so she starts thumbing through the records. So I just started doing it just because she was doing it. But a particular record caught my eye. The cover caught my eye, and I picked up the record just to look at the cover. I wasn't going to buy the record, but because I did have money, I had a paper out at the time, so I did have a pocket full of money burning a hole in my pocket there. And I wasn't going to buy the record, but my sister immediately saw me pick the record up and started yelling at me to put that record down, that it was devil music. So being the rebellious 12-year-old I was, I decided to buy that record with every last single cent I had in my pocket. Literally, I had about 12 cents left over after I paid for the record. So every bit of that money that was in my pocket, as I'm walking home, I remember I thought, wow, did I make a really big mistake? Because that went my whole paper out money for the last, 2 weeks. I was saving that money to go buy a toy or a trinket or something at the store, right? And I spent it on this record, and I had no idea what the record was. So then, anyways, that record was Venom's Welcome to Hell. And I thought it was the worst record I'd ever put on. I'd ever heard when I put it on. I thought it was terrible. I thought this is music. I was in complete shock, Jake. I didn't know what I had just done with my hard-earned money, but I thought it was awful. I told everybody in my family I liked it when I'd play it because I didn't want to lose face.
Yeah.
But the more I played that record, the more I got it. The more. So usually on Saturday nights, my family we'd have turntable time. We only had one turntable in the entire, in the house, so everybody had to take turns. When it was my turn, I'd put my record on, and again, I thought it was awful. But the more I would do that, the more I actually started to understand and appreciate what the band was doing. I was always looking at the back of the cover with the three members, Abaddon, Kronos, Mantis, and they got the knife there, and it's, and I just kept looking at it and looking at it and looking at it, and the more I looked at it and was reading and the lyrics and the looking at the picture and listening to the music, it kind of started to make sense for me, and thus metal chose me at that point,
and pretty much ruined your life.
Pretty much, yeah. It has. Here we are, over 3 decades. Well, actually, 4 decades later.
4 decades.
I'll be 54 later this year. So,
wow,
40 years later, here we are.
Then.
So yeah, what a wonderful ride it's been.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I found metal like 2 decades ago or whatever, and yeah, it's ruined my life because I've just bought so many CDs and vinyl and cassettes and whatnot. And got another message here from a good friend of mine, Chris of Crushing Sounds, also based in Bristol. Ready for some death metal chats. He's a good lad. So thank you for tuning in, Chris. That means a lot.
Well, you're in the right place, Chris.
You're in the right place because obviously that's all I seem to chat about with people. That's what people know me for. I know I talk about other things on my Metal Vault series, like some black metal, some heavy metal, some thrash and that, but mainly it's just been death metal.
Sure.
Because that's what I love the most. And I found so many different bands. A lot I already knew. Some I thought, okay, I don't know this band Kent's got on his channel with all the demos. So I'll have a look. And I thought, okay, that's cool. That's also cool. And that's also cool. So I just kept finding all these different bands. And I thought, wow. And then you do your collection updates, package stuff, which you get sent in by various different labels, which we will get into in a bit. But the other question, I didn't think I asked you this question last time, but what made you want to upload demos?
Good question. It was really, honestly, so not here, because I wasn't living in this house at the time, but where I was living at the time, I remember I was, listening to music, and I was listening to a particular demo. I could even tell you the demo. It was Carrion Lord. Carrion Lord, All Paths Lead to Chaos demo. As I'm listening to the demo, I thought to myself, I wonder how many people have actually heard this demo, because it's a really good demo. Yeah. And as I started looking at it, I started looking online, and then finally I find, YouTube. Yep. And I'm noticing there's some demos on YouTube, and I thought, I don't know how many people have actually heard this demo. And then I got to thinking about some of the other demos I had in my collection and things like that, and some of the other records and 7-inches and whatnot. And I thought, hey, how can I share this? Yeah. So really, that's where it started. I decided, hey, I'm going to just create a channel. And I looked on YouTube, and how do you create a channel, right? You just kind of searched it out. And it was pretty simple. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just did exactly what it said to do, created the account, and I learned how to make from YouTube. I learned how to digitize, the cassettes and whatnot to a digital format, to MP3. And then I figured out how to make videos, and I put them together, and here I just started. And really, Jake, I'll be honest, the channel was only created, I was only going to send it out to like a handful of friends. I was just going to give it to tell some friends about it and have them listen to these demos. Hey, remember these demos? And, next time I was at a party or something with friends, I'd hey, did you guys listen to that demo I posted? And, just that's all it was going to be. I never intended the channel to go any farther than just to a handful of friends. I really never anticipated or had plans for it to do anything else.
Yeah, it just went, because you just kept uploading all these different demos. Obviously, the first one you uploaded was the Mutilation demo by Def, which is a cracking demo if no one's actually heard it. And
wonderful
demo. And then you got other bands on there as well, like Rotrevor, your friends in Cyanide. Who else have you got? I'm trying to remember. Embalmed on there, or Embalmed.
Yep. Embalmed, Embalmer. Yeah.
Embalmer, countless different bands on there.
Yeah, it just seemed to kind of start, it just seemed to kind of start getting followers. And I never advertised per se the channel. I didn't have any way of advertising. I didn't know how to advertise it anyway. So the channel just started kind of getting subscribers all on its own based on the uploads, based on the uploads that I was putting. And I guess by word of mouth, the channel started getting subscribers. So it just went from there.
Just, yeah. Because look at the amount of subscribers you have. But you have a lot. Like, I don't know how many now. Obviously over 1 million subscribers. Well, way beyond that now. But
subscribers? No, I don't think I have 1 million subscribers.
Or however many you have. I don't know. I can't remember how many you have since I last checked, but it's probably ballooned. But here's a question from Mark, actually. Do you still own that actual Venom album?
I do, 100%. Yes, it is still here with me. That record will stay with me till the end of my days.
Oh, there's a lot from in my one down there. None of them were going.
Yeah, that one will stay with me. But yes, Mark, I do still have that Venom record today.
Yeah, I just thought I'd just get that question before I ask something else. But yeah, death metal. Like I said, I call you the death metal guru for a reason. Because you're not the amount of death metal you have in your collection is ridiculous. Your knowledge of it's ridiculous. You talked about all these different shows you've gone to. You get all these different releases from all these various labels, which if no one's watching any of those videos, go watch them. Because there's a lot of bands you would like, oh, I know that one, but you'd be like, some that you look at and like, okay, who the hell's that? Because I was like, I don't know this band, and I was like, oh, I know this band just by name, and then I checked them out. I was like, yeah, this is great. It's like Mark as well, because he just shows a bunch of death metal bands I like. As soon as he says disgusting, dirty, horrible death metal, I'm totally hooked. That's just it. And when I see your channel and I see all the bands you show, and when you address everyone, you goes, hey, everyone, this is your Uncle Ken, which is like, of course he is our Uncle Ken. But you are. Don't deny it.
No, I won't deny it. It's actually a wonderful term of endearment that people have bestowed on me. That kind of just came across just from people who, subscribers and people that follow the Instagram page and things like that. And people, it was just, I think it's just a kind of the community just started calling me Uncle Ken. And then I think in one of the videos a while back, I said something about, I'm like your Uncle Ken, because other people were saying it to me. I said, I guess I'm old enough to be your Uncle Ken, right? So I just kind of said it that way, and then it just stuck. And everybody, whether they meet me for the first time at a show or something like that, they literally come up to me and say Uncle Ken, and it's a wonderful term of endearment, and I embrace that quite a bit.
Uncle Ken. It's like, oh my God, it's Uncle Ken.
I have gotten that before, yeah.
You feel like this. No.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest with you, Jake. I'm not one for the spotlight. I'm not one to. I'm not very good. I'm not very good at owning the spotlight very well. I don't do that well. So, yeah, it's surreal to me when people come up and want to take a picture or something like that. If I'm at a show, I've had people ask me, come up and say how much they like the channel and shake my hand. I said, oh, it's wonderful. Great. Thank you for this. So I always thank them for supporting the channel. And then they want to take pictures and things like that. And it's so surreal. I'm like, you want to take a picture with me? Like,
it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not some big celebrity. What's going on? Because I've had that at a few festivals now. I went to UK Death Fest in London 2 years ago, and someone just came up to me after Mortar Skull, say, Jake's Metal Chat. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Mark just said this, actually. Ken's collection is more of a death metal museum, I'd say. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you can look at it that way. It's definitely, it's like anything, it's like anything that you invest in for so many decades. Again,
Yeah.
I've been investing in this stuff behind me for the last 40 years, 40 plus years. So as long as you contain it, you keep it, and you keep it well, and you maintain it well, and keep it so that it lasts, which I do. It's going to be like stamps or coins or
Yeah.
baseball cards or whatever you have. It's going to grow, and it's going to, the stuff that you bought 40 years ago is definitely going to be seen as more of a relic, or an artifact of that subject matter. So yeah,
Definitely.
one could definitely look at the crypt here as almost a museum. I call it home. It's my home, but I can understand why people would call that a museum. But and again, that's a wonderful, it's a wonderful thing for me to hear that someone would think,
Oh yeah.
the work I've done here has that kind of an effect.
Yeah, because it shows the work shows because like just the amount of I can just see behind you like the amount of CDs, and is that CDs or no? It's
Yeah,
CDs.
those are CDs behind me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
CDs. Yeah,
CDs and
the amount of
cassettes.
CDs you have there, and obviously your cassettes, which you did in your first crypt, like the tour of the crypt and all that, which you gave me a shout out in, and also Cam as well, which I haven't seen much of him lately, but
Oh
Cam
yeah.
who done the
Wow,
growl. I don't know.
you do your homework, man. You really watch the stuff, because
Yeah,
I don't even remember some of the stuff you're talking about until you mention it. Good for
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Jake.
No, because I remember watching a video, and it's before I changed my name just to Jake's Metal Chat, because obviously that's my content, because it was just under my own name, and then you gave me the shout. I thought,
Yep.
awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were probably one of the you may have been one of the first few, like, other YouTubers that were talking about metal to contact me.
yeah.
Next to Cam, you, and then others
Balloons.
started contacting me, but you were probably one of the first, with Cam, to like ask me
Yeah,
to be on your channel for a
yeah.
chat and things like that. So yeah, you were definitely one of the first. So I always remembered that about you, Jake, that you were one of the first people to support what I was doing. So I've always appreciated that.
Oh, I'll take that as an honor. Thank you very much. Take that as an
Absolutely.
honor because that means a lot. Because well, because I saw a lot of people talk about because I did because for my channel I just did whatever I thought what was popular at the time, so DB collection updates or whatever, and then I thought, oh, people are talking about metal on YouTube, so what can I do? I got a bunch of records, and then Cam mentioned doing interviews, and I just started doing that, and it's just ballooned over there. But then I show off my collection because I got a load of things to show. So,
Yeah.
well, that's down to you as well because you've shown stuff in your on your channel, and I'm like, well, if Ken's showing his stuff, I'll show my stuff. We're gonna have most of the same things anyway. So,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
except for the demos, I don't have any of those.
Yeah, those are fairly hard to obtain nowadays, but
Well, yeah, you got
it's
them
at
back in
least
the
the stuff
day.
from the 90s.
Yeah, you got them back in the day, like because you were there with all the tape trading, and obviously I've mentioned another band as well. I still need to get this album on either CD or cassette, and that's a Morg's album, Eroded Thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Still
Yeah.
haven't got it. It's hard to find.
Oh yeah. Is it pretty hard to, even the repress is hard to find?
Well, I haven't actually had a look to see how hard the represses are, but if it ends up at Black City Records, I'm snatching it because
Ah, okay. Because I
that's
know
how
Dark Descent
they've done it.
re-released it.
I don't know if it's still on there. It might be gone now.
Yeah, that one they may have sold out of
I've
those.
sold out.
So
But if they repress it, I'm getting it.
yeah, for
But
sure. That's a good record.
so I was going to mention gigs as well. So what was the first gig you went to, like, be it death metal or thrash metal or whatever, metal in general?
The first metal concert I ever went to, you know, other people have asked me that, Jake. I, honestly, I don't know if I can remember the actual first band I ever saw, metal show I went to.
Like,
Um, I mean, it's so hard for me to remember. I mean, it was probably at some point in high school. that I went to a show. I know in 1987 I had went and saw Slayer on their Rain and Blood tour.
Nice.
I don't think that was my first metal show though. I think if I'm gonna guess, it was probably 86, 87, somewhere around there, because that's about the time I got my driver's license. And I probably went to some local show, some thrash metal or heavy metal local show in the Chicago area. I probably went to some show and saw some bands is the best I can think of. Because I always try to remember that, but for some reason it never stuck in my brain what those bands were, or what show that was, my first metal show. But again, if I'm trying to think back, I know I did see Slayer's Rain and Blood in '87, but I don't think that was my first show. So I want to say it was some point before that, before the summer of '87, maybe the summer before '86, and it probably wasn't some great big giant, great big band. It wasn't like it was Metallica or something, because I would have probably remembered that. So my guess, it was probably some local show of some thrash bands or metal bands that were playing, and that was probably one of the first metal shows I went to.
Well, as long as you remember, you saw Slayer. That's a good show.
I did, yes.
So I've seen them before, but not obviously at their prime, their peak, so to speak.
Boy, were they!
There you go. So, as your channel is called Ken's Death Metal Crypt, I know. I've seen the video to the tour of it. I know there's a lot of Iron Maiden stuff in there, but still, it's the Death Metal Crypt, because what else? What's the thing you talk about the most in there is death metal. All right, you've mentioned some black metal in there a couple of times. You've mentioned the Sacramentum album, Far Away from the Sun, which is a cracking album. I have it on CD. I have it on CD. Really, yeah. I actually did a Metal Vault episode on it.
So very cool.
Let's mention it, and I gave you a shout out on that as well. That's how much respect I give you, because
I appreciate that.
Because you're just. Don't want to get all soppy about it, but you're awesome. And I
appreciate that, Jake. I've always appreciated the support you've given the channel. Thank you.
Oh, definitely. I always comment when I can, or just like the video.
I know you do. Yeah.
I just comment like, what can I say that hasn't already sounded like the last 10 comments I've said?
That's okay. That's okay.
I say, I know this band, I'll check out this band as well. Like, I know these 3 bands, but these 4 bands I'm not totally familiar with. But I got to make sure I write down the bands I don't know before you close your channel down. Because I'm going to forget.
Well, you still got some time. So you still got some time. So
just got to write them down in my notebook. But let's get to death metal. What was the first death metal band you ever heard?
Well, that's up for a huge debate. That's gonna end us up in a huge debate.
Yeah, it's like who's the first death metal band, Possessed or Death?
Exactly. So if I'm going to answer that question honestly, the first death metal band I heard was Possessed. Was Possessed with their Seven Churches album. I mean, to me that was death metal, and I know that's a big debate, because many say I'm wrong and that it was death, scream, bloody gore.
Yeah, just depends really.
I get it, 100%. But for me, Seven Churches came out just before.
Yeah, 2 years before.
Yeah, just before Scream Bloody Gore. So to me, Possessed was most certainly death metal. So when people ask me what's the first death metal band you ever heard, Possessed.
Right.
Yep.
I can't feel the first death metal band I ever heard was Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's who I heard first. Obviously, death metal been out way longer than I have, or around the same time, or started like late 80s at least, or way before that. If someone were like, "No, you're wrong, shut up," but
what was the album? What was the album you heard? The first album you heard by them?
It was actually a song I heard, "Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead" first. First, cool. And then I heard "Hammer Smash Face," and instantly liked it. then I found Obituary and Suffocation and Morbid Angel and Death and Massacre and various other different bands. Someone might say Necrophagia's album Season of the Dead was the first one.
Yeah,
death metal, but that came out the same year as Scream Bloody Gore.
it did,
but it's still a great album though.
It is. Oh yeah, Season of the Dead's. I always thought it had a little more of like a kind of a hardcore, backbone to it, but it's still great. It's still great freaking record. It had obviously a little bit of heaviness to its thrash approach, but yeah.
Oh, definitely, and obviously a lot of death metal bands like Chuck didn't really do growls or anything. Killjoy didn't do growls on that particular album. It was more like a raspier, thrashy approach.
Yep.
Same with Jeff. His vocals still pretty much sounding the same like from the last album they did in 2019 from Seven Churches. Still that raspy sound, but then it got more like growling, and then you get to the brutal death metal round, which is more low gutturals and sometimes pig squealing if it's slam or something, which I prefer old school death metal personally, and Death Doom, cavernous stuff like Crypt, which I'll make some mine from here. So
yeah, I think the first time I heard like somebody actually growling and doing that sort of vocal to me was Cam Lee.
Yep, Cam Lee
for Massacre. He was probably the first one that I heard that was taking that thrash vocal and taking it to a deeper, more guttural, more brutal place.
Yeah,
I always thought Cam Lee kind of perfected the death metal growl. Then you had Barney Greenway from Napalm Death when he was in Benediction, Subconscious Terror. He really had a really defined voice, death metal growl there at the time,
that album by Benediction, my God, it's
Subconscious Terror. Yeah, that was
an evil sounding record. His vocal adding on to the guitars just makes it more evil.
Yeah. That whole package was one heck of a death metal record.
Just from start to finish, and then obviously Barney left to join Napalm Death. Obviously, he did that tour with them in 1989 with Morbid Angel, Carcass, and Boltfur. I almost forgot one of my favorite death metal bands of all time. Then,
for sure.
And obviously, I've actually managed to find one live show of Benediction with Barney on vocals live with him.
Oh wow!
In 1990, somewhere on YouTube. It's somewhere, you just got to look for it. And I think, what's Mark saying? John Tony blew my mind when I first heard his vocals. Yeah?
Because very distinguishing vocals by John Tardy. He had a very distinguished style.
Yeah, same with like Van Drunen from Asphyx is a very distinct, because it's him as soon as you hear him.
Absolutely.
Same with John. As soon as you hear him, like, John. But then you get some vocalists from like other bands, like you said you weren't familiar with Skeletal Remains. I can't remember his name. His vocals kind of cross between, I want to say either Tardy or Van Drunen mixed with a bit of Chuck, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit. And there's a band called Miscreant from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
The drummer does the vocals, and he's got like a proper Van Drunen style vocals. He's pretty much copied it to an exact point. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, guys like vocalists like Martin Van Drunen and John Tardy, it's so distinguished what they do. It's so distinguishable that you can definitely, like you were saying, you can pick it out of any crowd, any sea of me's. You can pick that style out. They're often imitated, never duplicated. They were two guys that coined a phrase, so to speak. They really coined what they were, they mastered their craft, and many people tried to enjoyed it enough to try and do something in a very similar style, which that's fine. I don't just because somebody sounds like another person. I mean, it doesn't mean they're trying to copy or anything.
Not copy them, but like
Yeah.
Like you said,
It's like,
they imitate, but not
yeah, you
completely.
take influence. You take influence from all sorts of things, and if you like that style and you take influence from it, of course, it might sound a little like it, but it doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily mean
absolutely.
you're copying it.
No, no, no. You're just taking influence. It's like
Exactly.
I went to London very recently, back in May. I went to a festival, well, old day called Necropolis, which was just nothing but death metal.
Oh,
And one of
cool.
the bands was more Biffic,
Oh,
who I know you've had on the channel, and I've got to
yes,
speak to them there. They're really nice. They're all young. They're all younger than me. They make
the
me
young
feel old.
fellas.
Niggas both feel old, but because I was talking to their drummer, he's like, "Oh, I feel destroyed." He's like, "Why? How old are you?" He said, "23." I was like, "What?"
Well, I remember when I had them on, they talked about recording the first album at their school in their high school or something
Yeah,
with the high school equipment
I actually
in the
got it.
in the music room.
Yeah, well, a lot of them would have done, like a lot of the Finnish, Swedish bands back in the day would have, like, we call them at like uh sports halls or schools or whatever.
At
It's
the
like
community centers.
community
They would do
centers.
that at the
Yeah,
community centers. Yeah.
definitely. And stuff wrong with that. It's got its,
No.
it's got its charm. It's got its charm.
Well, you know how many, Jake? Do you know how many demos I have from Swedish bands that they recorded these wonderful demos on community, community at community centers with community equipment and they're wonderful. It's great.
Again, that's what I like about it, because I swear there's some demos on your channel that are basically like that. I checked out the last one you uploaded from, I can't pronounce their name. It was a Swedish band. It was a demo from '95. I know that. The last one you uploaded.
Oh
Because
yeah, yeah, from Sweden.
yeah, I was like, let's check these guys out. I don't know them. And I checked them out. I was like, okay, I know they're from Sweden. Where are they from? Or what actually what do they play? I know it's death metal, but is it anything else? It said death in black metal.
Yep.
So I was like, cool. Mark says this. There's definitely not as many vocalists in the modern death metal scene that stand out as much. There is more of a deep in the mix way doing things these days. Totally true.
Yeah, I think especially with death metal, because everybody's obviously to keep in the death metal realm, your vocal approach is going to have to be pretty aggressive, right? It's either
Yeah.
going to have to be, it's going to have be a deathly growl, or it could be a raspy kind of thing, but it's
That's-
going to have to be aggressive.
Oh yeah.
And I think, I think it gets extremely hard to get for a band to get out of the sea of me's.
Mm,
It's very hard for a band today to, even though they're going to take influence and even though there's some current validity to their music and their style, it's extremely hard for them to try and take something that's been done many, many, many times. So I
exactly.
think to Mark's point is that the one of the things they can do is to do something in the studio that's maybe going to help separate them, that's going to help them
Definitely.
get out of the sea of me's. So to Mark's point, yeah, I see what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And speaking of the modern death metal scene, there's a lot of them that tend to go like, like the newer death metal bands. So the more newer modern sound of death metal. But there are modern death metal bands that go to the old school sound, and that's the ones I prefer the most because
Sure.
they keep in the old school side of death metal kicking, so to speak. And that's what I love about those particular bands, because you got a lot of them on your channel. Obviously, that's where I
I
found a
think
lot of them.
I think what I like too, Jake, is not just with the bands who pay homage to the old school, but the labels who
Oh yeah,
are re-releasing some of these old gems. And I know when we start talking about some labels, I got lots of recommendations for
yep.
that. But
Those,
I love seeing these labels today just re-releasing so many of these wonderful demos from the 90s stuff. You might be able to hear digitally, but to try and
actually have a
locate a
physical
copy, a
copy.
physical copy, is virtually impossible. And
It
if
is.
you can find one, it's probably got a very hefty price tag. So kudos to some of these labels who
Yeah,
are re-releasing these wonderful gems.
Yeah, because a lot of the labels I already know, and I've already bought like a couple of stuff from those labels already, like Gurgling Gore and what was the? I think I bought one from Grindfather from around the same time, like some weeks back now, or months back now. But obviously, Gurgling Gore's one you would recommend.
Oh, absolutely. Gurgling Gore Records. As a matter of fact,
Anyway,
that was on my list to talk about Gurgling Gore.
so let's talk about Gurgling Gore Records.
Let's talk about them. So here's some of their newest releases that I would highly recommend here. You got Dysmorphia, which is kind of like an old school death metal with a little bit of a gore element to them. You got Mephitic Grave from Hungary.
Yeah, they're great.
That's the Dreadful Seizures album. That's great death metal. The Rigorist Demo 23. And then you got the Mire of Absolute Repulsion. Now, that's a four-way split with Plasmodulated, Fester Gore, Necrovision from Texas, and Ectospire. So that's awesome. And then one of the, you're really in the mood for some gore grind, brutal gore metal kind of stuff. You want to get this Infected Load. It's called Dripping. I love the way the art detail too to what he does, to what Ryan does. But yeah, Gurgling Gore, man, Ryan just does such a great job. He's a one-man show with that label. He has always supported my channel, Ken's Death Metal Crypt. So
he's a good man.
If you guys want to, and you know what I like about him too, you know what I like about what he does with his releases, Jake, is that he doesn't stick to one kind of thing. He'll go all over, all these releases here are all over the board. There's a little bit of brutal gore metal. There's some, a little bit of a tech death metal with the Rigorist. You got some old school sounding death metal with the Mephitic Grave. And then you got, Dysmorphia that's kind of more of a brutal, kind of a primitive, brutal kind of death metal with a little bit of gore in it. And then you got that the absolute Mire of Repulsion. That's just for new bands kind of doing new spins on death metal. So
definitely.
I like Gurgling Gore's take on so many different variations of death metal. So that's why, a label like Gurgling Gore, you go to their website, you check it out, man. They just got so much to offer in the way of their releases and bands. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, because they kept getting mentioned all the time on your channel. I thought I got to actually buy something at some point. Then I did, and if I can find it, I know it's in this particular one because that's where all my cassettes are.
Ryan has always supported the channel. He's supported me since pretty much day one that I started doing this. So, and he's always sent me his releases. So yeah, I got nothing but respect and love for Ryan, AKA Big Daddy Gore, and his label. And I'm sure even after I exit social media, Jake, I'll definitely be making purchases with Ryan for sure.
I'll continue because I found so many things. I think I got this from Gurgling Gore, or I might have got it from a different one. I don't know if he's got this band on here, but Grave Gore.
Okay. Yeah, Living Burial Ground. I have that. Yeah.
That's a Ryan,
Ryan Willis.
Yeah, he might be along a bit later. But because I've had him on my chat as well, and this is what I like about this tape. It's a nice white one.
Yeah, sure.
Nice
Dismal Fate Records. Dismal Fate
Records. So I think Gurgling Gore does stuff with other.
Oh, sure. He may have distroed them. Absolutely.
He might have distroed some of these. I might have gotten on his website. That was the word I was looking for. And there's the man himself.
Yeah, Ryan. He's a beast, man. That guy.
He's an absolute beast.
He's also in Seven Doors. Love that band too, right? Seven Doors. Yeah.
Finally got a t-shirt. Finally got a t-shirt now.
Ryan's a good bloke. He contacts me. He's contacted me and sent me stuff for the channel. He's a good man.
He's a good man. I met him briefly at Bloodstock last year, I think, or was it 2 years ago? I can't know. It was 2 years ago because it was really hot that year. But yeah, Gurgling Gore Records. So none of you who are watching this so far, I think Mark's going to be familiar with Gurgling Gore. Chris of Crushing Sounds, I don't think you are, but if you love death metal, Chris, as much as I do, if you're still here, you probably are. Go on Gurgling Gore Records if you want stuff like Mephitic Grave and what if you want death metal, gore grind, death grind, tech death, whatever he's got on it. I think it's just gonna at one point it's like, nah, it's just old school death now. Then next week it'll be like, nah, it's just gore grind.
Yeah, he does a great job. He
Either
does a
way,
great job with his releases and his distro. You know, he distros for so many other labels. Yeah, he's great. It's great,
yeah,
great label to support, guys.
yeah. If you love underground, heavy, extreme
100%.
music, what's the other labels that are out there that you can recommend that I also know that because obviously we just mentioned
Yeah, so let me. Well,
Gurgling
I tell you
Gore.
what. I'll step to. So that was a U.S. label. Gurgling Gore's out of the U.S. So let's let's go to a. I'll go to a European label out of the Netherlands. But another label that has always supported what I do. My buddy Adwin runs this label, but it's Intuit Records.
Into It Records. That's the other one I was about to say.
Yeah, he's got some. So a label after my own heart because of again the re-releases he does here. As you can see, that Denial Shreds of Flesh. I think that was their '94 demo, if I'm not mistaken. The
Yeah,
Abath, which I have an
well,
original
yeah.
copy of that. The Abath from Sweden, forever to be entangled therein. You got the Mastication demos from '91 and the Cranium demo, Abduction demo from '93. Re-releases. So
Ooh,
again, trying to find these, if you're someone who wants to try and find original copies of these, good luck. And
yeah.
then if you do find it, it's going to cost you your right arm, because these will
Well,
not come cheap. So
no,
this is what I'm talking about with a label, re-releasing these things. In the thing about this, they don't remaster, they don't remix it. It's
no.
the original OG
It
sounds
comes as it is.
for these, and he tries to keep everything pretty much the way, because as I look at some of these that I actually have the real demos of, I mean, the artwork is almost spot on, with what the original was. So it's really cool to see that. But and then of course they add stuff, but it's just really cool, man. I love seeing bands, labels doing
Oh,
stuff
that's
like
cool.
this. Yeah, this and yeah. So for me, a label like Intuit Records re-releasing stuff like this. This is the gold and the silver you guys want to go get, man.
That's
This
what
old
you,
school death metal.
that's what you need. That's what you need. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's someone else who joined this chat a while ago, but I hadn't had a chance to say this one is Big Vitus. Netherlands got some good labels going these days.
for sure.
I think you've mentioned a label from the Netherlands, have you?
Night Terror Records as well.
Like Terror Records. And he said this earlier. He was like, "What's up, Deadheads? Um, chatting death metal. That's what's up." And Mark said this. He's brought up a good point here. The cost of overseas posters really doesn't do these brilliant independent labels any favors, which
Yeah,
is frustrating. Yeah, we can all agree with that, Mark. Definitely,
absolutely,
it's
absolutely. It's
frustrating
tough.
to absolute hell. And it's like, come on,
Yeah.
support your local label, support your local scene, or whatever it is. I was going to mention a label here because I've gotten quite a few from this one. $20 spin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I know Slime Lord have just recently released their debut. Here it is.
Yep.
That's a great album.
It is.
I'm not going to try and say the name of the album again because it is quite ridiculous to say.
I hear you.
It's I said it on my chat, like when I was doing like my collection update. That was it. I was like, let's see how I can say this. This sounds like a medical thing, and my mum's a nurse.
Oh wow. Okay.
So she'll probably know what it is. She'll probably know. I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But yeah, these guys are from Leeds, which is in the north of England.
Okay.
And I think when we chatted way before I got you on the on the first chat, like we chat over Facebook when you were still on Facebook, I think you said you've been to the UK before. Did you come to the UK before? Like on
No.
holiday years ago? I thought you did.
Mm.
Well, if you ever do, come to Bristol and I'll take you to the Griffin.
Oh yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, my wife she loves anything English. I mean, everything from English television shows to English movies to English folklore. So we actually this year just got all of our brand new passports so we can
Oh,
travel
brilliant.
abroad. I think, Jake, probably next year. I think my wife's going to want to take a vacation to the UK. Is
I
I
love
think
you.
is going to be our
Well,
first European destination.
well, we'll stop in Bristol and I'll take you to the Griffin.
Yeah, I'll have to let you know. I'll have to
And
let you
Black
know
City
how.
Records.
I'm not sure exactly where we're going. I mean, my
Well,
guess would be we'll probably go to London.
yeah,
I'm
that's
not sure
probably
how far you are from London.
we're like a couple of hours away on a coach
Oh, okay,
and a train. So
gotcha.
you should be all right. There's plenty of hotels in Bristol. I got your email address. I can just send you a bunch of different prices. Um, I know this wasn't on $20 spin, but I know these guys are on $20 spin. But it's one of my favorite albums. When we'll get into it, thought I'd show a couple now. Gloomlord, my worm.
Oh, of course.
This album's just dirty. And there's the guys that, well, Phantom Slaughter, and funny I mentioned Worm. They're actually playing Manchester in November this year. They're actually playing the UK, and I'm very tempted to go. I'm not missing that.
Yeah, I would definitely take the trip.
I am not missing that. I thought Worm in Manchester in the UK. Damn, I gotta go. Can't miss that because I've already seen like a few of my favorite death metal bands out from in the US and all that now that have come over here finally, like Mortiferum and countless other bands. I try to remember the top one. Sanguisuga Bog was another one.
Now England typically gets pretty decent tours and whatnot, correct? I mean, as
Oh
far
yeah.
as metal goes, yeah.
Oh, and yeah, in terms of metal, you tend to get a wide range of like obviously death metal, black
Sure.
metal, sometimes doom metal, sometimes folk metal, sometimes like a lot of heavy metal, but sometimes it's stuff I can't stand, like deathcore, uh, metalcore, new metal, stuff like that. But that works for other people. For me, it doesn't. Oh, Mark said this. You lazy bastard, Jake. You go to London if you want to meet Uncle Ken. I actually, if you're going to be in London, I'll just come along. Like I'm in London.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably where we'll go is London because it'll be our first time, and I think my
Yeah,
wife's going to want to see all the stuff in London. So,
I got
um,
to remember some places like museums that you guys should go to. Oh, hopefully I'll remember.
well, my thing is the first thing I want to do is go have a real pint in an English pub.
Oh,
I want to do the English pub crawl thing, man. I want to.
okay, Mark. Any pub recommendations? Better yet, Mark, come join us.
There you go. Yeah, join us, Mark, and yeah,
Come join us,
yeah.
Mark. Some
But
death metal
I'm
nut
I'm
bags.
pretty sure next year around this time we'll be heading to England.
Yeah. Well, I got your email address, so when I'll be like, cool. I'll come to London. This guy here, Cosmic DK, Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken. Yes. See, you're Uncle Ken.
I'm Uncle Ken for
Uncle
sure.
Ken. And my mate Chris said, always worth a detour to the Griffin. That depends if he comes to Bristol, Chris. If not, I will be in London, and you'll be like, okay.
Well, is the Griffin like a well-known pub?
It's the local metal pub.
Oh,
Here,
okay. Oh, cool.
the local
Okay.
one. I mean, I got a pub near my house here, but it's not very good.
Okay, the Griffin's an actual
Yeah,
metal pub.
gotta go to London Death Fest.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned UK Death Fest, but I think that was the only one they were going to do. But they end up doing another death metal one. I know they're doing Killtown London in October, which I got a ton
cool.
of death metal bands happening this year. Like I think Undergang's been announced for it. Crypt, Worm, Anatomia. Who else was on it? Druid Lord on the bill.
Oh, awesome. Good friends of mine.
And one of the many bands I use from when I work out at the gym. So, but Mark said I'll be there. Cool. All right, us three, meet up, go around different pubs in London. Camden's usually the best one for pubs, but Mark might think of other ones. But But London definitely does have some really, really, really cool venues there. Like, well, especially the ones in Camden, like the Underworld, the Black Heart, Electric Ballroom. Because I'm going to go see Skepticism in June. Well, end of June, should I say? Because it is June. Are you familiar with Skepticism, Funeral Doom from Finland?
I've heard it. I've heard the band. I don't think I own anything by them.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing them with Ahab and Esoteric.
Oh, okay.
Esoteric's UK based. Can't remember where now. My brain's frazzled, so my knowledge of metal is kind of waning at this moment in time. So, oh wait, he did mean Killtown. Okay, not UK Deathfest, Killtown. He
Gotcha.
meant Killtown. Any more labels before we get on to bands?
Oh, for sure, for sure. All right, we'll go back to a US label.
Sorry, took a
My
bit of a
good
deep
friend,
label.
my good buddy, who's been doing this label for a while. He's got some great releases. Again, he's much like Gurgling Gore. This label has just a really cool variety of metal. He's even done some heavy metal, a little bit of black metal. He's done, cassette, mostly cassette, CD, vinyl, but Head Split Records out of the U.S.
Head Split, that was the other one.
Yeah, these are some of his newest releases. You got Vomit. You got the Decryptorium. This is this thing. I don't know if you have this. Woo!
No, I do not have that, but I will.
Oh, that's good. That is some good. You got Sonic Poison. This is some really good crusty death metal.
I do like a bit of crusty death metal. I mean, who doesn't?
You got this Posthumous Regurgitation.
Posthumous Regurgitation.
Yeah, it's the Corner's Guide to Cadaver Cuisine. This is really good. Just brutal.
Say that again.
Death metal.
Say the name of that album again.
Posthumous Regurgitation, and the name of the album is called The Corner's Guide to Cadaveric Cuisine.
Blinking heck, there we go. Sorry, I talked over it when you said it. I thought, no, say it again.
Oh, what's that? This one?
No, you already said it. I mean, okay. I talked over it the first time.
Oh, no problem. And Calcinato, Autopsia, Celestial. This is really good too. These guys are from, I'll probably say it right. I think Finland. I think they're from Finland or Sweden, one of the two. They're from Scandinavia somewhere. Good stuff. Yeah, just so Head Split Records, just another label that does it right. They do more than just one type of metal and death metal, and they just kind of blend. I think Dylan, who runs the label, he's the owner, runs the label. I think he just kind of like whatever he gets in, if he gets a demo in from a band or something, or he learns about a band, and if it clicks with him, he puts it out, and that's awesome. So that's why he gets such a variety, because one day it could be something that's maybe a little gorier or more brutal. One day it's a little more crusty, punky kind of stuff. The next time it's just full on death metal, or heavy metal. But yeah, he does a great variety with some of his cool releases. Head Split Records out of the US. Dylan does a great job with that label too. He does really good things.
Well done, Dylan. Well, I don't think he's watching this, but if he is, well done, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan. There it is. Big Vitus says, yeah, they're Calcinato from Stockholm. Yeah, I thought I was wrong. It wasn't Sweden. It is Sweden, not Finland.
Stockholm, yeah, and for Calcinato, yeah, that's the one.
Good stuff. That's good demo. You should check that out. Or EP, I think it is actually.
There's a lot of different labels we can discuss because there's just so many. So some of your favorite. Did you pick records or were those the tapes?
I do have a couple of records. I was just trying to, so not so much a label, but one of my fave vinyls of this year was a very anticipated album by me because I liked their demo so much. This band's demo so much. They're a U.S. band, and the hype for this album was insane, and it didn't disappoint, especially hearing it on vinyl. But the Excarnated Entity.
Excarnated Entity.
Now, they had a demo on Extremely Rotten Productions that was called Stillborn in Ash. And then this came out, this year, but this was highly anticipated and it didn't disappoint. Mass Grave Horizon. Man, oh man, you talk about sludgy, evil sounding, drudgy, death, doom, death metal. Ugh. It is wonderful. What a great release. I was highly anticipating this coming out. I really was waiting for this because I love their demo so much. I was really waiting for this. It did not disappoint. This
my ears just
record
perked up.
met all standards for me. So yeah, this was really good.
Yeah, as soon as you said sludgy, death doom, death metal, my ears just perked up.
Yeah, this is great, man. If you haven't got this, Jake, if you haven't got this, go look for a copy of this.
Reminder of the name again.
It's called Excarnated Entity, and it's Massgrave Horizon. Now the vinyl is on Nuclear Winter Records.
Nuclear Winter Records, right?
Now, but I think I'm not sure if the CD and cassette is on a different label or not. But this is the vinyl version.
I can have a look later.
Wow, what a wonderful record vinyl that is.
Yeah, I see the Slime Lord album was one of my favorites from this year so far. But from
I got that on vinyl, yeah.
So from last year, it was Crypt's second album, Using Radioactive Formation, and here it is.
Yes.
That is just proper, dirty, disgusting, nasty, horrible death metal, as Mark would say. Because
100%.
As soon as he says those words, I'm like, Mark, can you stop it? And there's my mates in there now. So, anyone watching who is familiar with Crypt? Oh, cool. You just put it in here because my mate John, the bard, who I'm in 2 bands with, is in. So thank you very much, John. I did tell him about this today. But yeah, there's my mates.
Yeah, he said excavated entity. It's excarnated entity.
Excarnated. Yeah, John. Damn it, John. You just
I put it in there for him.
He put it in there. He messed it up. But yeah,
that Cryptworm's insane. I have that on vinyl. I know
all 3 of these guys. So because this guy and this guy over here are in another band called Separation. If you're familiar with them.
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with Separation. What's the? There's another band. Isn't that one of the members of that band in another? And I have the one album by him. Rada Heads or something. Rohadas or something.
Rohadish.
Okay.
That's Tabor's other band. But they don't do live shows. There's only 2 of the guys. But Joss is in Cryptic Shift, if you're familiar with them, which are more on the technical thrash metal. So kind of like Voivod in a way. Weird style thrash. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's just unique.
Sure.
But progressive. Definitely one of my favorites from last year. And I'm not just saying this because they're friends of mine. This is generally a album.
I agree. Album. That's a great record.
And I only got into this band very recently, but I saw them at the Acropolis. A band called Snet.
Yes. I don't
know how you say that album though.
Wonderful.
I don't know how you say that. I tried saying it on my collection update. I couldn't.
When I see stuff like that, Jake, I put it in the video and I just point up to it.
Yeah, like this. I don't know how to do that. I'm just like, if anyone knows, tell me.
Exactly right. Yeah. Now they're from Czechia, right?
Czechia. I still say Czech Republic, but I think there's someone that still says Czechoslovakia. It hasn't been that for a long time.
And I don't think it's been Czech Republic either for a while. I think I called it Czech Republic, and somebody got mad at me and said, "No, it's not. It hasn't been that in years." I think it's either Czech or Czechia.
Yeah, it's Czechia. So got the guys there.
Yeah. Good dudes.
Good dude. Yeah, they were brilliant. Like they were down their bass player, but they still pulled it off.
Oh wow!
They still pulled it off. So they were down their bass player.
You know, when guitars are that heavy, I mean, you know, I guess if minus the bass, it's still going to be pretty heavy, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it was still heavy. I mean, I filmed pretty much one song from each band that day. And obviously, during Cryptworm, a stage driver knocked me over for a bit, but I still filmed Cryptworm because I am that dedicated.
Wow.
I am that dedicated. I am, or you can say I'm totally mental. But like, one more album I think here before I get on to the last three here, but I'll leave those for a bit. The band you actually told me about when we spoke over on Facebook when we first started chatting back in 2020. Fed It.
Oh, Fed It, yes.
Steeping
Corporeal Mess.
Yeah, you said check out Fed It. Checked them out. I was like, this is the right type of stuff for me.
Oh, yeah.
There's the guys on the back. $20 spin. Because me talk about these bands, I know John, who's in the chat at the moment, I didn't see his first message going, hey-o. He's a good bloke. I think I tell him about bands and he hears it and he's like, oh, I'm going to buy this. It's like, God, you're easily impressed. Joking. I'm joking. But yeah, definitely, if you like your dirty, disgusting, horrible death metal, Mark, I know you do. Calm down.
Yeah, I just wish they did something new. I'm still waiting for something.
Yeah, they haven't done anything new since this came out in 2019.
Yeah,
and they haven't done anything for 5 years now.
Yeah,
but really. I did talk to Julian because he plays in Mortiferum now.
Right.
I said, "Is anything happening?" He did say that they are working on some new stuff.
So, good.
So we'll just wait for that. Actually, I'll show the vinyl off because it was one of my favorites from last year. Coffin Mulch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Their album.
Love that. Well, another good dude.
Special Indecision.
His name is escaping me. Who's the fella that runs a label and is in the band? Is he the vocalist?
Oh, Al.
Al, that's it.
Al's the vocalist. Yeah, I think there's a picture of him here somewhere.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. They're all good. Yeah, because I got to chat to them because they played Bristol last year at this little pub called the Red Lion.
Oh, cool.
And they usually play like punk grindcore bands there usually, but these guys sort of blend in punk with death metal. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think they got a little bit of for sure. I think they got definitely a crusty kind of punky vibe to some of their stuff. Yeah, there you go, Al. Yeah, that's the good. I mean, I'm sure they're all good books.
It's a nice orange.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a gorgeous record.
Yeah, because I got a T-shirt with that particular.
Al sent me one of those too. I do have one. Yeah, he sent me the same shirt.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
He did, yeah. Good dudes. Good band. Love that band.
Really good. So if no one's heard this, I'm pretty much just recommending albums. And you recommended one so far, and I'm recommended like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I'll stop here before I recommend the other two. But definitely Coffin Mulch.
Coffin Mulch. Good stuff.
From Glasgow, Scotland.
Yeah. So how far is that for you to travel to, like, if you were to go to Scotland?
On the plane is an hour.
Oh, that's all. That's not bad.
If I was to drive it would take me, I don't know how many hours, but it will take me a long while to get there.
Yeah.
This is what John's asking you, because I could have said to people, ask Ken questions. Has Ken ever bought a random record just because he liked the artwork?
Absolutely. And that's actually a good question, John, because nowadays I probably don't do that nearly as much, because with the digital age, you can go online, even if I'm in a record store, I just get on my phone, right? I can go on Bandcamp, whatever, YouTube, and I can even, put my AirPods in, and I can listen to it right then and there. If I'm in a record store and see an album, I've done that. I've done it several times. But going back before the digital age, before everyone had computers, I'm going in the 90s and whatnot. Before then, absolutely I did, John, and I probably did it more obviously then. You'd be at a record store and you had no way of going home and trying to figure it out. If it looked cool and the cover was cool and the dudes if there was a picture of the band and they looked metal, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I took a chance. So yes, John, I did that many, many a times in my life. Sometimes it worked out.
sometimes not.
Great records, and sometimes it was an absolute bust.
It was
But to answer the
absolute.
question, I most certainly have done that before.
It was just an absolute piss stain, basically.
Disaster. It was a disaster. Some of them were disasters, but it worked out. I think more than it didn't. So, but yeah, I absolutely used to do that 100%. Yeah.
As long as it worked out for the better than the worst, instead of the worst more than better. But
Yeah, I'll be
all
honest with you.
depends.
Like with Death, Scream, Bloody Gore, I didn't know who Death was
No,
at the time that I bought that record. I didn't know what they were, who they were. They were Mantis, and now they're Death, or whatever the case is.
whatever.
I didn't know that's what I bought it. I was at a local record store. It was in the import section, and I just thought the cover was awesome. That's why I bought the record.
Damn, there we go.
Yeah, I didn't know it was I didn't think it was vegan. Same thing with I know Surathungal, the heavy metal band Surathungal. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but strictly bought their record based on the first cover was One Foot in Hell. That was the first record I bought by them.
I think David might be David of Black City Records. You might know him.
Yeah, they're a U.S. band. They're a heavy metal band from the U.S. back in the '80s. I mean, I think they're still doing stuff now, but yeah, it was just
I buy anything with
Repka.
Yeah, I mean, I see some album like that the artwork looks cool, the music might be cool, and then like with you, it might be good, or might not be. But now
I think just about any metalhead has done that.
Oh, we're all guilty of it.
I think so. I agree. I think just about every metalhead. I don't think there's any one metalhead in this chat that hasn't done that.
All right. So any of you guys, has anyone bought an album just because of the artwork?
You guys are all going to say yes.
You're going to say yes. If you say no, you're lying. And Mark, if you lie, we are going to get you properly drunk when Ken comes to the UK next year. That's what's going to happen. Same with Dan Seagrave. I've done
Mark Riddick.
In more modern times, Mark Riddick, who done not only Ken's logo, but mine as well. Which is just brilliant. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah. Mark said 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, I think just about everybody has.
Everybody has. Everyone's done it.
Sorry, guys, I'm pouring a bit of the Jake and I were talking about.
Another beer with me because I've almost.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Tatra. It's a Polish beer. I'll be honest, guys. I pretty much only drink European beers from Europe anymore. This is a Polish beer. Friday night I was drinking a beer called Enos and Gun, but I understand that sometimes it's pronounced Gin, Gunn.
Gun. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it's it's a Scottish beer that's it's placed in whiskey barrels to age the beer is for several months before they bottle the beer. But it's a wonderful Scottish ale. But I was drinking that Friday, and I'm drinking a Polish beer today. I pretty much only have a taste for European style beers, and I'm not quite sure why. In my older age, I can't drink too much else.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, drink ales mainly. Sometimes stouts. Other times, I mean, I went out with my mum and nan because we were gonna go to the cinema after a meal. I had rum. I had a double rum. Okay. I had a double rum and Diet Coke because I just fancied not just having a bit. I thought I want something else. And we're watching Pirates of the Caribbean at the cinema because called the throwback thing at the cinema, and thought I'm watching something about pirates. What do pirates normally drink? Rum. Let's have a rum. So what's Chris said here? Of course, that first Venom Prison album I grabbed on the artwork alone. Oh, I know which one. Is the I don't know when they formed now, but they're a British band. They're more on the hardcore kind of death metal side.
Oh, okay.
In a way, I haven't listened to them in a while, but is there any more bands that you like? Any other records that you picked out?
Yeah, another vinyl anyway.
What can I get before we just got consumed by this? And I would have to get another beer in a bit.
Another vinyl that came.
Yes,
Yeah,
loved that album. Loved it.
Yeah, this was highly anticipated too.
Oh.
I mean, when I started hearing this was about to be released, yeah, I couldn't wait to hear it, and it didn't disappoint. It came out, and this being on vinyl, just made it even nice and even more analog and crunchy and my opinion, you can only you got to get this on vinyl because
I want to
the
get
snap,
on vinyl.
crackle, and pop with
Yep.
the with what these guys did with their dissonant death doom approach. This, yeah, one of my favorite releases of this year is the Spectral Voice.
Absolutely, just
Yeah,
evil.
this is
Evil.
what a wonderful record. Yeah, just there was a lot of hype to it, but it rightfully so because it checked all the boxes and hit all the corners.
Yeah, because that last album came out in what 2017 was it?
Is that when it was? Is that when Corridors of Unbeing came out? I'm having trouble remembering when that came out.
Oh, I put Spectral Voices. There's a band called Spectral Voices. It's not them. It's not them. No, not them. Spectral Voice. There we go. 2017. I was right. It was 2017. So we hadn't had anything for that amount of time, and then all of a sudden this just comes out, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Finally,
it was worth the wait for sure.
Oh, finally, yeah. I got this album because the headliner from going back to Necropolis was Hyperdontia.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They got their new album out, Harvest of Malevolence. I got on cassette.
Oh, see, I don't have that.
Really cool
I
album.
don't have that. Very cool.
Album. And you're gonna like this. It's a blue tape. Nice blue tape. Because I'm trying to think what else. But I know it was a split and it's a red tape and it's behind me because I got to play it at some point. But yeah, the record label is. Are you familiar with this one? Descent. Is that?
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen. I think I follow them on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to get a tour shirt, but they ran out the extra large sizes. Like, fine. What can I buy then? Tape, cassette. Now that's made up for it. I got a cassette. Oh, we got someone new. I know this guy. He's subscribed to me.
Hey, Roger. Hey,
Roger. Good evening, all. Good evening, Roger. We're still chatting a lot of death metal, so you haven't missed a whole lot of death metal yet. But some albums you might have missed. But yeah, definitely this one. Because they're not fully Danish, because some members are Danish, couple that are Turkish, and I think one of them's Polish, if I remember correctly. I believe.
Yeah, that's an international band for sure.
International is not. It's not like some bands where it's just like purely just in the UK or purely just in the States or Canada or France or something. Because there's a brutal death metal band that was mainly just in Norway to begin with, Cranium. Now they're all over the place. There's Norway, UK, because my mate Jason's the guitarist in the band. I think the drummer's Turkish. Vocalist is Portuguese, or was one vocalist they had was Portuguese. I can't remember. I get lost when it's an international band. I get totally lost. Totally lost. And it's just, my brain hurts. One more album I will show because I only got one more to show. And we talked about Morbific, obviously at Necropolis. Got their debut, finally.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Omniseep of Putridity.
Absolutely filth. And obviously, I talked about their logo saying, oh, yeah, it reminds me of Impetigo's logo. It's like yeah, we're paying homage to him.
Oh, that's a good catch.
Yeah, because if you look at this logo and then look at Impetigo's logo, it's very similar.
It's similar, yeah.
It's very similar. And have we got the young lads? There they are. Right here. Because two of them are brothers.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, these two right here, the brothers. Yeah, I love this CD. I love this album. I love this band.
Yeah,
They're just
very, very
nasty,
cool.
horrible, disgusting death metal, which is what you want in your life. If you don't like death metal, then what's wrong with you?
You're in the wrong place if you don't
You're in the
like
wrong
that.
place for now. You're in the wrong place for now. But if you love death metal, and there's a lot of you that have put comments in the chat, and there's 8 people watching this so far. So thank you those who have actually come out to see this last ever chat with Ken before he disappears into the normal
Sunset.
into the sunset
So I write off before I
out
write
of
off
the
into
world
the
of
sun.
social media, which is a pain in the ass. It is, and I think you're doing the right thing by leaving social media. But we're all sad for those who have been watching your channel for so many years. We're sad that you're leaving, which, of course, I was just like, because I watched that video saying, don't skip it, don't pause this video, come back to watch it, just keep watching it, where you were talking about ending it or ending the channel. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I on the inside I was like, wow, I'm just completely heartbroken about that. But then you told us all the reasons why you were closing your channel, and I thought that's totally understandable.
I appreciate that, Jake.
So,
Yeah, it's a bittersweet. Um, obviously I've been running the channel for 10 years now. I've been showing my face on camera for the last 5 of the 10. It's really just time for me to move on.
yeah,
I think, and the one of the ways I'll explain it, Jake, is that if you in your personal life, let's say at your work, let's say for your job, for example, whatever you do in your life for work, when you're given a specific task and you complete that task, you don't keep doing that same task or work,
no,
right? You move on to a different task. You move on to something different. And I think that is probably said for anything you do in your life.
yeah,
So with this channel, it has exceeded any expectation I had. It exceeded and went beyond anything I thought it would ever do. So because of that, it I got to a point, Jake, where I thought I can't do any more.
yeah,
I'm it's gone beyond what I ever wanted it to do.
yeah,
So because of that, I just decided that it was time for me to finish, and I finished what I wanted to do with the channel, and
you
it met the expectations. It went beyond the expectations I had for it. So because of that, I felt it was time for me to move on. And I'll be honest, Jake, I didn't quite expect I expected some backlash, but not quite the
yeah,
backlash I got, because I got some really upset people that
yeah. I think I know what
really
comment.
were extremely upset that I was burning the Library of Alexandria. My God, this is a YouTube channel. It's not Alexandria. It's not a library. But here's the good thing, Jake. And I will, sorry, but I will be recording a farewell video
Yeah, I was
before
going to
the
ask,
channel ends. I'll
are
probably
you
do
doing
that.
anything for that? Because
Absolutely. Yeah, I have plans to record a farewell video. And then that's probably something I'm going to upload in probably the early part of August.
right,
At that point, Jake, I won't probably upload any other videos else to the channel. I'll let that video run for the last 2-3 weeks of August. And towards the end of August is when I'll start the deletion
right,
process.
right, end of
Now,
August.
I have 100% for a fact, I know that there is a channel that has downloaded all of the music from Ken's Death Metal Crypt, and they
Okay,
have uploaded most of it, maybe not all of it, but they have uploaded most of it to this channel. So to those people who were extremely upset that the music was going to be lost, the good thing is the music will not be lost. It is archived by others. So that I will divulge all that information, and I'll leave the link to in that farewell
In the
video.
description below, obviously.
Exactly. I'll let everybody know. So the music then that's what everyone was really upset about, was that the music was going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to be archived. And that was the thing. I
Yeah.
had faith that there would be somebody that was going to do it, and somebodies did do it. And yeah, more than one person. But I'll give out that info in my farewell video. But yeah, so fret not, the music will still be archived for generations upon future generations to enjoy. Now, will my videos with me talking be any longer? Unless somebody downloaded them, they're going to upload them to their channel. I can't speak to that, but those will probably go away. But I don't think the channel was so much people upset about seeing me talking. I think it was more about the music.
More about the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the demos you've uploaded onto your channel, a lot of those demos, like you've said, you can't find those anywhere. And
yeah,
there's why a lot of people were a bit upset because of that.
And I understood that. I definitely understood why people might have been so upset that the music was going to go away. I get it.
Yeah,
But again, rest assured, and I'm not just saying this, I have 100% proof. And again, I will divulge that information upon my farewell video, that the music will be archived for generations upon generations to come, and you can all enjoy it. And then at that point, I can ride off into the sunset, and I will leave all social media behind.
And there we go. Yeah. Well, I know I know people like Mark and Liam and Menly does definitely. I know she started uploading demos and that to her channel recently because I've seen a bunch. I know they're going to be upset. I'm for one. I'm upset that you're leaving, but I understand that you've done out what you've achieved, and you just want to move on, and that's totally fair. I mean, because there's a lot of us still on here, still gonna keep showing records, keep recommending bands. I know I'm gonna continue that, and that's all because of you. You're the reason I started showing my collections in the first place, because I know I had a lot. Not to the extent you have. I'll have to come to you. I'll probably, if I ever come to your house, I'll just like this. Well, I quit buying records.
No, don't quit.
I won't quit. I won't quit. But it's like, this makes my collection feel inferior. But yeah, literally about to ask if you had anything planned, but you got this farewell video. Any idea in August when it's going up? Is it the first week of August?
Yeah, probably the first week, or probably within the first couple of weeks is when I'll upload that video, the farewell video. And then, like I said, Jake, I'll let that video run to the end of August. And probably the last week of August is when I'll start the deletion process. So it'll probably be up for a good 2-3 weeks for people to see the farewell video. But during that time in August, I will not upload any more videos, whether it be music or me speaking on music. July will be the last time I'll do any of that.
Right. So anyone who is still watching this now or watching this after this has already gone live, you know when it's going up. And once it's the end of August, Ken will no longer be here on YouTube. But you got me, you got Mark, you got Mainly Loves Death Metal, you got Death Doom Metalhead, you got Freudstein, which is Ryan, doing mainly guitar stuff, but still it's a metal YouTuber. Wendy's up, who I met in Manchester 2 years ago. We'll be sad to see you. Be sad to see him go, Wendy, definitely. Because she spotted me at Damnation, actually. She's like, "Oh, Jake's Metal Chat." I was like, "How?" But but yeah, we're all going to be.
You're famous, Jake.
Famous or infamous or both, or I don't know. Oh, she says, "Hi." Yeah, I only met that one time, but she knows Mark in that, so Mark's gonna say hello in a minute anyway. But yeah, I don't know how long we've been going for. An hour and 24 minutes. Wow. And
Yeah, time flies.
Not even 8:30 here yet.
Yeah, yeah, it's well, I'm farther behind. It's only it's about 2:30 in the afternoon here, so
Yeah, nearly 8:30 here. So,
but no, I do appreciate everybody's comments. Thank you so much, everyone. Mark, Wendy, everybody. Roger. Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor for me to have been part of you. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor because you guys allowed me to be part of your lives.
Definitely.
That's my honor. It's my privilege. And it's I who should be thanking all of you.
Yep.
I know so many people thank me for the content and for doing these things, for uploading these demos, but it's I who should be thanking you because it is because of you guys and your support that what the channel has done is it's even why it's done what it's done. And it's because of all of you. So it is I who should be thanking you.
Wow. And well, you're welcome. I'll say you're welcome just from everyone else, but me personally. But yeah, I'm gonna say thank you for all the content because I wouldn't have found out about all these other different bands if it wasn't for your channel. I know Mark's shown me a lot of new bands as well, but
sure,
a lot of the ones you show, I'm like, I don't know these bands. Who are they? I check them out, and I'm like, awesome.
And you know what, Jake? That's not even something. That's because of the labels. That's because of the bands and the labels sending. These labels we're talking about that we talked about in the last 90 minutes or whatever it's been. It's because of those labels that have sent me, their releases. That I'm able to talk about it, and that I'm able to do, because many a times it's the first time I've discovered these bands. And it's because the label's sending me these things. So, it's thank you to those labels. People thank me, and it's I want to say to everybody, don't thank me. Thank those labels and support those labels because if it wasn't for them sending me this stuff, you wouldn't have known it. Just like me, I wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly, yeah, because
it's my privilege.
It's his privilege.
It's my honor. It's
and there you go. Go on and comment. There's a lot of cool stuff.
It's the labels and the bands that
on Kim's channel. So, and I agree. That's how I discovered a lot of new stuff on like your channel, Mark's channel, and Liam's channel. What's Mark said? Ken, you're a different class, my friend.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
You're a different class. So, any more? I was going to say any more record labels. Like, one more record label you can recommend?
Yeah. So let's talk about the old school again. If you guys are familiar, a U.S. label, another label near and dear to my heart. Now he only releases CDs, but we're talking about these old demos of bands, these obscure demos that if you do find them, they're going to cost you. It's going to cost you a second mortgage on your house. But the label is called Doomed to Obscurity.
That's the other one. I was just trying
out of the U.S. and some of the releases that I shouldn't say some, but the releases they put out are just insane. He does. His name is David, and David just does here's the Execration Excreted Guts demo. I have this on original demo. This is a U.S. band, I think, from Oregon. And just an amazing old school death metal demo from the 90s. The thing about David does remaster all of the tracks, all of these demos, but then you get to Scourge from the U.S. This is their Strangled demo.
Damn.
This is more old school U.S. death metal from the 90s. Here's another, that same band, Discord U.S. band, Esophageal Bleeding demo. This demo, man, this thing's brutal. You get this, and then some of his recent stuff, Dethroned from the East Coast in the U.S. This is kind of like Vital Remains, a little bit of old school Vital Remains stuff. And then, of course, a demo that I got back in the 90s from the band, but Bath 'em Into Darkness. He released their Into Darkness demo, and it's remastered. This sounds great. This sounds great. But Doomed to Obscurity, again, this is if honestly, Jake, if I had a label, I'd probably do a little bit of a mixture. I'd probably do like a re-release of a demo like this, and then I'd probably put out something new, like a new band. And then I'd go back to something like this, and then I'd do something new. So
yeah.
if I did a label, that's probably
Yeah,
how I would do it. But
yeah, because I swear you had a label before because you put out Cyanide's
yep,
second album, was it?
it was actually their third album.
Third album, sorry.
Yep, Death, Doom, Destruction.
That's it, yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, when you said if I had a label, I was like, wait a minute, you did have a label.
I did have a label. I did with a business partner. I did.
With a business partner. I'm trying to remember what else I got on my. Oh, I'll show one more thing here. It's a split I like. It's Anatomia and Eternal Rot.
Oh yeah, I have that on vinyl. Yep.
That is a cracking split.
Cracking.
Cracking is a British thing. Cracking is a. But yeah, look at the tape.
Oh, that's cool.
Got Eternal Rot on one side.
I love how labels do that now. You know, Intuit Records is really good with that too. How they like paint the entire cassette. I love that.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool,
Now
cool.
this is the one I got from Gurgling Gore. This was the one I got.
Ah, okay.
Gurgling Gore right there.
There you go, Gurgling Gore. There we go.
I can't remember which one it was I got from Gurgling Gore. It was this one. It was this one. But yeah, no one's heard this split or these two bands. Check them out if you like your really nasty, heavy death metal.
Doom. Yeah.
Death Doom, yeah. Anatomia, Death Doom. They all play in Killtown in October in London. Eternal Rot, I don't know if they got anything planned because I know one member's here in the UK and another member's in Poland, I believe.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that. But what's Rogers said? It's awesome to get the chance to get old demos on physical format. So many gems out there. Oh, there's so many I found. So many. Like, not just on... I mean, because I got an original copy of For the Security by Carbonized.
Huh.
Which got... Someone sold it to David at Black City Records. And I saw it in there and I thought, well, that's an album I need. Not one, I need it. And I got it. And I was like, I'm having this. And that is not leaving my collection. You're gonna have to take that out of my cold dead hands before that goes anywhere.
Did you get that on vinyl?
Oh, CD.
CD, okay.
Because it said on the sticker 1991 first press. I was like, and I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, this is. And I played it. It plays beautifully on my little record player. Hang on. This thing. Which is a record player, a CD player, and a cassette player.
All in one?
Just around there. And I might as well show this, but I got at Black City Records because it's got it's got two bands that Ryan's in. The Don't Go.
Don't Go Into the House. Yes, Don't Go in the House. I did get a copy of that. Yeah. Got Cremulation. Yeah.
Cremulation.
Born Undead, Gouger, and Blood
Rage. I thought I saw that in there, and there was someone else who goes in there, and he saw me buy it, and he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Did you want this?" He's like, "Yeah." But look at the tape.
Yep. I think
that's the one that it came.
Is it Iron Fortress Records put the cassette through?
I have no idea. Oh, Night Terror Records.
Night Terror, that's it. That's where I got it from, was Night Terror Records.
Yeah, because the J-Cod's pretty simple. It's just got, I think, images from... Because there's a horror film from the 80s called Don't Go in the House, which I haven't watched. And I'm pretty sure those are images from there. If Ryan was on here, he could tell me.
Clever.
But makes sense, doesn't it? But
clever.
It's the reason why it's out on the top there, because I am going to play this at some point. I've got so many different CDs out that I'm going to play. I just never end up.
I love that tape. I have that tape too.
I just don't want to overplay it and it gets completely destroyed.
It's a good mashup.
But I think I bought this classic at Black City Records.
Brutality.
Screams of anguish.
Screams of anguish. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and I thought, I am not letting anyone buy this. Anyone goes near it. No. Black tape with a logo. And might as well show the J collars. We're talking death metal here. Got a picture of the band right there.
Yep.
And all this. And
lyrics.
Our favorite things to read. Because people say, "Oh, read the lyrics so you know what the lyrics are." I was like, "Well, where's the fun in that?" Where's the fun in that? You read the lyrical content, you know what they're talking about, you know. But yeah, I saw that, and I thought, well, I can't see it on CD and I can't find it on vinyl, but it's on cassette, and I'm taking it. And also found that as well. One of the first things I bought when that shop.
Correct. Yes, Embalmed Existence.
What an album! Covered this
good
recently.
Floridian death metal.
Floridian death metal. I can't remember who released this originally, which label, but it was re-released on Hammer Heart. Was it Nuclear Blast?
Nuclear Blast or Relapse? Was it Nuclear Blast?
Might have been Relapse. I can't remember. I think
I have the original CD. I think it's either Nuclear Blast or Relapse. Maybe it is Nuclear Blast.
I think it might be Nuclear Blast. I don't know. I'm just pulling information out of my ass, and hopefully it's right. But yeah, before we end this chat, and I let you go and get about your day, because it's still the afternoon where you are. It's the evening for me, which is pretty much gone 8:30 now, and there's 11 people watching now. So I know you said some words already, but is there any final things you would like to say to people out there that have been watching your channel for years, and just to all your supporters, basically? Any final words?
Jake, I've so many times I've tried to look for a really intellectual way to say thank you, something that expresses more than thank you, more than gratitude. I've looked for, maybe passages or phrases or things to say that can express gratitude, and I can't find anything that makes me sound really intellectual. So,
Look who you're talking to.
And other than saying thank you, just thank you to everyone that's ever watched a video, if you've ever commented on a video, if you follow the Instagram page, if you've ever clicked like on a photo or something. Just all I could say is thank you for all these years of support. And if it wasn't for all those people and all these labels and all these bands, Ken's Death Metal Crypt would have never come to life. So it's really me thanking everyone else for building that channel.
That's amazing. Yeah, and we thank you for having this channel, because I wouldn't have found all these other different bands. Obviously I knew the albums by the bands, but wouldn't have known any demos or anything. And I find all these demos, and because I've heard Rotrivor's first only album, and found, I can't remember how many demos of Rotrivor did you put up. Was it just the one demo, or was it two? I can't remember.
I think I did the demo in the 2 7-inches for Rotrivor.
That's the ones. What's Roger said? Thank you, Ken. Been a pleasure following you.
Thank you, Roger.
Absolutely. If there's anyone else still in the chat, like Mark and Wendy, and that, if you want to say your thank yous and stuff before this man's no longer here on social media, but we will continue on. Who we got? Thank you for everything you've done for this community, definitely. But most importantly, thank you for being a friend, Ken. Same with me here. Your channel may stop, but that won't.
Yeah, you're 100%. Thank you, Mark, and you're 100% right. I'm leaving social media. I'm not leaving my friends.
You're not leaving friends behind, but you're just leaving social media.
Correct.
And you've become a friend of mine just from this, Ken. So thank you
100%.
Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being.
Thank you, Jake.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for being the death metal guru to a lot of us, or to like people of my generation specifically, or just in general, or just anyone in general. What's my mate Chris said? Thank you for the awesome content, Ken.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and who else? Wendy. Thank you so much, Ken. You're the best.
Thank you, Wendy.
He is the best.
I follow Wendy's Instagram page.
Oh, so do I. Yeah,
who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? Because I saw her, and that's how we ended up following her on Instagram. She just saw me at Damnation. She's like, oh, I follow you. Oh, what? Who do you go by then? This. Oh, I'll follow you then. Metalhead seems to.
I follow Mark too. I follow Mark on Instagram.
I follow Mark on Instagram, and Liam, Death Doom Metalhead as well. And
I did have an Instagram account before this one that I have currently, and then I deleted it, and I was off Instagram for several months.
Yeah,
I had about 10,000 followers, and Jake, it got really overwhelming. I was getting messages by the dozens, just all the time, and I ended up deleting that account, and then I was off for several months. I went back to Instagram. It's been much easier to maintain this time around. So yeah, but once I leave Instagram as well in August with the channel, there will be no return to it. There's no return for me. I have really again with Instagram, I feel like I've done everything I've set out to do with it. I've showed the stuff here in the crypt, and I've shown pictures, and I've showed people that some of these things really do exist, right? So I've shown it, and I think that's where I'll leave it.
You leave it. Yeah. You've done out what you set out to achieve, and that's all we can ask for, really. So again, thank you very much for your channel. Obviously, again, for me being the death metal guru, our Uncle Ken to a lot of us, and a friend to a lot of us. And thank you once again for coming back on my channel, for you having one final chat.
I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for always supporting what I do. It's been an absolute pleasure. Cheers to you and to everyone else in the chat. Cheers.
Cheers. Still a little bit left. But yeah, so thank you very much, Ken, for coming back on. I know I'm going to repeat myself here, but just thank you for all the things I've just said. Everything. And I hope to meet you next year if you're ever in London.
I think we're going to be in London next year. I'm pretty sure. My wife's
got your email address.
I think it's pretty. I'm pretty sure we're going to be in London next year. So if anybody in this chat is close to London, I don't know. I might be in London next year.
I can pop on a train. I can pop on a train or coach or something.
Ooh, somebody's got a Belgium 10% beer.
Oh, John, it's John. Yes, John, of course you have. Raising my film filmed with. Sorry, raising my
beer. You have about 3-4 of those. You're talking to the doorknob.
Yeah, because he's got a drinking on, I got a drinking on. We're both in the same folk metal band. But he was in the band like 10 years ago, left because nothing was happening. And now he's back in the band, and he already wrote like one song within a week within rejoining. He's too talented, this man. And we got our own little side project, which is like deathy, doomy sludginess with HM2 pedal.
Very cool.
For HM2. Who doesn't love HM2? But once again, Ken, thank you very much for coming onto the stream.
You're welcome.
And for being a friend, most importantly, to not just me, but to a lot of us. But for those who want to check out Ken's channel before we go, obviously links will be in the description below this video. The chat I did with him in 2020 is going to be there as well. These chats won't go anywhere. He won't be here, but these chats won't be going anywhere. He may be gone, but people who he's going to announce on his farewell video, who are uploading all of the music he's uploaded to his channel, will be there. Be sure to check out his videos on all the stuff he gets sent in by all of these labels, because there's so many. And also you get to see him do his Ken's death metal crypt stamp of approval, which is a nice touch, I have to say.
Thank you.
I just like how you go. You just go, right.
You know what? That honestly, Jake, that came about from people watching the channel.
I believe.
It came about from people watching the channel. I remember a video I talked about a band, and I was like, God, I really like this, you know. And I said something about this, you know, if I could I just made a really high recommendation for this particular demo, and people said, Ken, you give it your stamp of approval, and I was like, yeah.
What's that mean?
So, yeah, and I'm like, sure. And then literally a friend of mine, Rick Contreras from the Dreadful Minutes channel, he shortly after he made me a graphic of a stamp of Ken's Death Metal Crypt stamp of approval, and then you know, that's kind of what it went from there. But yeah,
I like it because every time I see it, I'm like, that's amazing. Oh, what's this? Can we get one final stamp?
Oh, absolutely.
Channel in pure Ken style.
Absolutely. Jake's Metal Chat most certainly gets the old Ken's Death Metal Crypt stamp of approval. Is Jake's Metal Chat 110%? Go check it out. Very cool stuff.
Thank you for doing that, man.
Mark,
he's stealing
by all means, Mark.
Oh, bloody hell, we're all going to steal it.
It's all yours, brother. It's all yours. Hey, it's all yours, man.
We're all going to steal it. We're all going to steal it.
You guys should.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. But definitely, yeah, thanks for doing that, Ken. I will remember that. I get
You're
the
welcome,
old
Jake.
Ken.
Thank you.
Well, my channel has got the Ken's Death Metal Crypt stamp of approval now.
110%.
110%.
So does Roger. So does Mark. They all have Ken's Death Metal Crypt stamp of approval. 110%.
Chris of Crushing Sounds, you get it as well.
Everybody does.
You all get it. You all get it. So once again, thank you very much, Ken. Be sure to check out his farewell video when it is up in August. Just comment down below it, say like your goodbyes or thank yous or whatever's on your mind. And yeah, that's it from us. I've been Jake of Jake's Metal Chat. He's been Ken of Ken's Death Metal Crypt. Keep that banner of, well, in this case, death metal well and truly high. But you'll see Kevin in more videos before his channel's gone, but you will see me again in the next one. Take care of yourselves and have a good rest of your evening here in the UK, Europe, and in the States. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Be good, everyone. We'll see you.
See you later. Get this last one here. The stamp is going on my CV. Cheers, lads. Great video. Thank you, Chris. See you all later.